In tonight's Political Insider, gun control reverberates on the campaign trail. President Obama made an emotional plea on Tuesday. He wants the U.S. to embrace some new gun control measures. His package of executive orders are a central topic as candidates crisscross Iowa, New Hampshire, and other early voting states. Joining me with the latest is Dave Levinthal, senior political reporter at the Center for Public Integrity. Dave, this emphasis on gun issues marks a shift for Democrats. They've shied away from the subject in recent presidential elections, in part because of the lobbying prowess of groups like the NRA. What's changed?
What's changed, Morris, are two things. Number one, there have been a rash of mass shootings that have happened over the course of the past many months. And number two, President Obama is in the final year of his 8 years, ultimately, as President of the United States. So if he is going to take any action, any unilateral action at all, it's going to be now. There has been one thing that hasn't changed, and that's Congress's unwillingness to get together, Democrats and Republicans, to do something legislatively that's going to address this. Of course, Republicans say there should be nothing legislatively that goes above and beyond what's already in place right now for fear of eroding Second Amendment rights. But Democrats are very adamant that something needs to be done, and an executive order appears to be the order of the day.
Now, will Obama's gun control measures have any impact on fundraising, or has it already?
You better believe it. They're fast and furious. Emails all over the place, solicitations from Republican candidates, from gun lobbies, the NRA, and various other ones that say, look, this is a full assault on our ability to have guns, to keep guns. The Second Amendment is sacrosanct, and the president should not be going out and trying to do something that's going to take away from our ability to freely own guns. Now, of course, a lot of Democrats and liberals will say this is something that is actually not significant in the sense of wholesale reform. It's not taking anyone's guns away except people, in their opinion, who should not have guns in the first place, and enhancing measures like background checks and various other provisions that will make the United States safer, in their opinion.
Smith & Wesson stock through the roof. All right, let's switch gears. Jeb Bush just canceled advertising plans in Iowa and South Carolina. It's another cost-saving step for the down-in-the-polls candidate. His super PAC, Right to Rise, burned through half of its $103 million. Why pull back now?
Here's a stat for you, Morris. For every 27 ads that the supportive Jeb Bush super PAC has put up on the air, there's been one from the Bush campaign. So a lot's been made of this, but honestly, it's probably going to help Jeb Bush a lot more than it's ever going to hurt him. We're talking about his campaign itself, the actual entity that Jeb Bush controls. That's the one that's going down from television and pulling its ads, putting that money that it's going to save into resources like staffers and getting out the vote efforts. Jeb Bush is in a bad place right now, and if he doesn't have a pretty solid showing in New Hampshire at least, if not Iowa, then it seems very dubious that he's going to be in any position to really challenge for the Republican nomination.
Now, Dave, Right to Rise still has as much cash as John McCain spent during the entire GOP nominating contest. That's incredible. What should we take away from that statistic?
Super PACs, which are these organizations that can raise and spend unlimited amounts of money. They operate sort of as parallel campaigns to the candidates' campaigns themselves. Jeb Bush's Right to Rise super PAC, that's really keeping him in the game right now. You can almost liken Right to Rise, the super PAC, as the Air Force to the Army that is Jeb Bush's own campaign. So the Air Force is doing all the TV work, going up on air, putting all the television ads up. They are not taking their television ads down, and in fact, they are the dominant force in the election right now when it comes to television advertising, even if it hasn't translated into much success at this point for Jeb Bush, either in the early states where we're going to have the first primaries and caucuses, or the election nationwide.
All right, meanwhile, the Federal Election Commission has a new chairman, Matthew Peterson. Tell us about him.
He's not a new person in the sense that he's been a commissioner for many years, going back to the middle of last decade. He, in fact, has been chairperson of the FEC in a previous year iteration because of the one-year rotating chairmanship that the FEC has. He's a Republican. He's a conservative. He's somebody who says, look, I'm not going to come in here and try to hit home runs. I'm going to try to hit singles. I've known Matt for several years right now. He's a very studious, kind of almost professorial-like commissioner, and somebody who's very thoughtful in the way that he goes about his business. Although the FEC is often very, very contentious, and you have these ideological battles that are raging between the conservatives and liberals on the 6-member FEC. Commissioner Peterson, now Chairman Peterson, is somebody who everyone seems to personally like and at the very least respect.
Dave, you've got a scoop about the FEC poised to publish on Thursday morning. Can you give us a preview?
Well, I've talked to many FEC commissioners, and the consensus right now is that it seems likely that the FEC is no longer going to be occupying its headquarters that it has been occupying in the Gallery Place, Chinatown area for about 30 years right now. So it's still possible they could stay, but it seems more and more likely that they will go in 2017, and the 350 employees of the FEC are going to have a new address, and maybe in D.C. That's where they'd all like to be, but entirely possible that it could pull the same route that the FBI right across the street did and move out into the Virginia or Maryland suburbs.
All right,
too early to tell.
Thanks for the scoop. Dave Levinthal, senior political reporter at the Center for Public Integrity. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Morris.